So, Bill Gates, creepy guy or humanitarian trying to do right for the world?
I'm going with creepy.
I'm a little creepy. So, if you're his wife and you're half of the foundation, and life is good because you can do anything, get anything you want, travel wherever you
Go
want.
anywhere. Yeah.
What do you want? Yeah. Why would you ever let that go and say, "See ya, LT Gray, I'm out"?
I don't know. I got questions. I want to see what she's doing. I
Let's
want to
let's
dig
get
into her mind
into
a little
this
bit.
and find out what's going on. Welcome to the Root Barn Podcast. Let's get into this now. Okay, Billy Boy, Bill Gates. Love him or hate him? I tend to hate him. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not the hugest fan of
Yeah,
Billy Boy.
he and the other really famous Bill who've gone down to one Jeffrey Epstein's island.
The Bills.
The Bills have gone down approximately, I don't know, a lot each.
Probably more than they should have.
Probably more than, which would be more than once, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And they seem to have wanted to go down. I don't know. Maybe they weren't able to tour the whole island. You know,
Maybe
it's a
it
pretty big
rained.
island.
Yeah, maybe it rained. They took a rain check, who knows?
Check. Yeah. Well, and then it seemed to rain quite often because I think they had to get 20 or 30 rain checks in there or something.
Yeah.
But that apparently seems to be maybe part of the reason that Melinda decided to go. And and I'm not, I don't like to look at looks per se, but let's face reality. We've got ourselves somebody who's not the most attractive person.
Looks like a man. I don't know.
She's like a man. Married to a. He's not even a man.
Troll.
Man
Yeah.
either.
I know.
She's more the man than he is, I think, right?
Yeah.
And he's always got that head cocked, when he talks to you.
Yeah.
Or
it
goes
was
this
super
way.
creepy.
He never looks kind of straight in the camera very long. He's one of those weird ones. So anyway, he's got this, but let's listen to a little bit of Epiphany. I know this is not necessarily brand new news, but brand new news. But let's listen a little bit about this. We're not going to take a ton of time on this. We just want to touch on this because I find it interesting because I really want to hear the real reasons why she's letting this fortune go. I think he had to pay her a ton anyway, so she actually made out pretty damn good.
Yeah, I was going to say she can't be losing out on all the fortune.
No.
I mean, she helped them build it. So
well, they had, 3 kids together also, and were together for almost 30 years, something like that.
Yeah, was it 27? I think it was, or
something like that. So she's invested time. She's has a vested interest in the fortune. So like he can't just keep it all, and he'll make more because he'll just put out new vaccines for everybody. Whatever. All right, let's listen to a little bit of what she has to say. And she just addresses the betrayals, which is shocking. Betrayals. Because if Gates didn't, so if he didn't have money, do you think he's getting tail? That much?
Probably not. I mean, he's creepy. He's old. He looks like, he
was nerdy when he was younger too.
Very scary. Like he just crawled out of a grave.
Right.
Scary.
Oh yeah. But let's listen to what she has to say, and we've got a couple of these, and then we'll move on.
Melinda French Gates is getting candid about when she knew it was time to divorce Bill Gates. During an interview with People magazine published April 2nd, the philanthropist details some of the, quote, difficult periods during her marriage to the Microsoft co-founder and how it ultimately led to them going their separate ways. As she writes in her upcoming book, The Next Day, per the outlet, Bill has publicly acknowledged that he wasn't always faithful to me.
What?
And in addition to the alleged infidelity, Melinda also notes of a recurring nightmare she had in 2019, a year before their separation, where a beautiful house would collapse around her, which later turned into a vision of her and Bill's 3 children, Jennifer, Rory, and Phoebe, plummeting into the void. Explaining, as dramatic as it sounds, I knew in that moment that I was going to have to make a decision and that I was going to have to make it by myself. And in the beginning of 2020, Melinda asked Bill to start living separately, which she says was, quote, one of the scariest conversations she's ever had. And by the end of the year, she officially went.
Why was she afraid for her life?
Yeah, is he dangerous? He doesn't look very dangerous to me.
Well, he would never do it himself. He would, hire, 2 or 3 levels of separation.
Yeah.
Like a couple other people we know who went down the island.
I could see
Another
him like
Bill.
I could see him like going off the rails though. Like he just has that like almost like he like schizo, you know what I mean? He just snaps into this other person. And I mean, you could probably just push him down if he did that, but at the same time, like I could see.
But who is it he's paying?
Yeah,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
to take care of business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's listen a little more of her.
And to end their marriage. And while Melinda mentions that the exact reason for the divorce is for Bill to share, she writes in the book that seeking therapy, quote, made it possible for me to respond to the betrayals in my marriage without betraying myself in return. Since announcing their divorce in May of 2021, the two have spoken candidly about their split, with Bill recently calling the end of his marriage, quote, the mistake I most regret. Telling the Times in January, you would have to put that at the top of the list. There are others, but none that matter. The divorce thing was miserable for me and Melinda for at least 2 years. In return, Melinda reacted to her ex-husband's comments, revealing that she does not feel the same way. As she told Elle magazine in March, look, divorces are painful, and it's not something I would wish on any family.
That's true. Yeah. So, yeah, we all know divorce sucks. We've both been there. Yeah, that, unfortunately. And it's just one of those things. But it's interesting how they say on here, and I think on the next one's a little too long. I'm not going to play that one. But that I don't think they necessarily really have a ton of info about her actual real reasons. And it's like you have to wonder, because I think they have tied Bill to the island, Epstein Island, on the Lolita Express, heading on down there.
Isn't it his name on the list?
Yeah, but it's one thing to have like an affair, and then it's another to be hanging out with underage girls and possibly boys.
Well, and even to like
if that's the case, I don't know. I am merely speculating.
Hypothetically, right?
Hypothetically.
Say you're Bill and you're you're commit infidelity, right?
Yeah.
And say she finds out about it and you're like, and you grovel back and she takes you back and blah blah blah. Now wouldn't it not be in your best interest to like not hang out with those kind of clowns and just kind of get as far, even if you went down once and you're like, whoa, this could look really bad for me,
right?
I'm gonna stay away, as far away as I can from these turkeys and just focus on what I got going here and try to make the best of it. Now, wouldn't you do that? I mean, I would.
You would think that normal people, but sometimes the power of the little head overpowers the emotional, rational part and decision-making process of the big head.
Yeah, that little brain really kind of takes the wheel sometimes, doesn't it?
Very powerful.
Yeah.
And gets you in a lot of trouble.
It seems like it got him a divorce.
Well, yeah. and loss of like half his wealth or something. I don't know what they ended up being, but
yeah, because I'm sure. I mean, they.
I'm sure she made out just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So here's another video. She's interviewed again with. This is on CBS Morning. I wonder if this is Gail King. I can't remember, but we'll find out in a second.
Gail.
But she talks a little bit more, of course. But she's never going to really say this stuff on any of these mainstream outlets at all. She'll hint to infidelities or betrayals, but she won't ever really say, yeah, that fucker went down to Epstein Island and he was with underage girls. She'll never say that in any of these outlets. That'll come, later on. And maybe that's part of the prenup or the postnup. the divorce decree is that you do not mention anything about this, or I come back and I sue your ass.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why she wouldn't say it on these platforms, because of that whole thing.
So why is she saying it now, though? I mean, this was 3 years ago they got divorced or so, right?
I don't know. There was probably like a statute of limitations or something like that. Wouldn't you think? Yeah. Like he put one on her, like an NDA, or something. You know what I mean?
Or a non-compete where you can leave a company and you can't go to a competitor for X amount of time, 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, whatever. Maybe that was it. I don't know. But let's see what she says here. This is about 3 minutes. We might interject in between and see what she has to say here. But I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of info out of this, but let's find out.
It's not one thing. It was many things.
It always is many
things.
I did
not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards.
Melinda French Gates opens up following her and Bill's divorce and the role Jeffrey Epstein played in their split. The power couple revealed last year that they ended their 27-year marriage.
Okay.
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
That's Melinda sitting down with CBS Morning's Gail
I don't
King
want
on
to get
Thursday.
sued. Oh, hey.
Her first wide-ranging interview since the split announcement in May.
Divorce is a painful process, even when it's what both parties want. It still is a very painful.
How would you know, Gail? Were you ever married? I don't know if you ever were married. Maybe you were.
Well, I mean,
not that I'm just saying it's, but she's talking like she's an expert, like she's an astronaut.
Like, yeah.
I'm an astronaut, therefore.
I know.
I know everything about everything now.
Space. I know about divorce.
Right.
Full personal decision.
It wasn't one moment or one specific thing that happened. There just came a point in time where there was enough there that I realized it just wasn't healthy, and I couldn't trust what we had.
Among those contributing factors, Bill's connection to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The disgraced financier died in jail in 2019 while awaiting trial for sex trafficking charges.
It was also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein.
It's not one thing. It was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
Mm-hmm. And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him.
Melinda admits she met Epstein and doesn't mince words about her first impression.
I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door.
I was going to say, and boy, did you find out. But Epstein is really like...
Well, yeah, for him to have an effect on people like that.
First meeting,
evil personified. That's heebee.
And yet it didn't seem to bother Billy Boy.
No, because like you said, I think he was thinking with his little brain, not the big brain.
Yeah, the little one. That little brain, like I said, that little brain is powerful sometimes.
Yeah.
And apparently this was something that really worked. So let's listen a little bit more.
He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It was awful.
In a statement to CBS News, Bill calls meeting with Epstein, quote, a mistake that I regret deeply. He adds it was a substantial error in judgment.
Oh, you think?
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
Okay.
But I made it very clear how I felt about him.
Mm-hmm.
Melinda and Bill's divorce was finalized in August of last year.
First of all, I think,
so it's a couple
I want to say that on the day I got married, I never thought I would end up being divorced. And, unfortunately, I felt like I needed to take a different path, but I didn't have any sense of how big of news it would be. You can't anticipate something like that.
The couple shares 3 children together, and both remain involved with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Definitely a very sad milestone.
In his first interview following the divorce in August, Bill explained the split wouldn't affect their dedication towards giving back.
And Melinda's a great person, and that partnership that we had coming to an end is a source of great personal sadness. We are communicating and working at the foundation, and so that partnership we're going to try and continue.
Sure. Yeah, you are.
I mean, Yeah, whatever floats your boat there, Bill. But I think he. And that's kind of a realization that is sad, but needs to happen, especially with people like this. And that you got just uncountable amount of money, but you're still not immune to
life.
Life and the mistakes that you've made.
Yeah.
And when it comes out this way, I think is a good way to say, hey, well, karma came and bit you in the ass.
Big ass bite, yes.
And you're not going to be able to run from these things forever.
Yeah, it does catch up with you for sure. There's only so many ways you can weave the weaving of the weaveness, and try to keep shit straight, because, like they say, truth you don't have to remember things. But a lie, you got to remember everything you said.
Oh yeah. Can you imagine the millions and millions and millions of dollars that he spent trying to buy her forgiveness for that?
I can't even imagine what went on with that.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I just thought of that. That is a number that I would really be interested to see.
So you're saying a vase of flowers wasn't going to do the trick?
Nah, it wasn't going to do the trick.
Not even roses, huh? Wow.
Not even roses. Not even the yellow ones.
Not even the yellow roses. Nowhere around an anniversary or birthday. Just randomly Tuesday afternoon.
Right after work. Yeah, no.
They magically show up from a phone call to a florist.
That's not going to cut it.
Yeah, it's not going to cut it. I don't think so. So we're just wondering, why now? Why is this kind of coming out? Here's a E-Times. I don't know who these guys are, but hey, they have a story on here where she talked about how Epstein was evil personified once again, but this was out just on the 17th, so just a couple days ago. And this is why I kind of brought this up, because all of a sudden this is regurgitating itself. It's coming back to the surface. And so we're trying to figure out really what's going on. And will this put Bill in a bad place? Is this going to end Bill's ability to continue to fund bullshit research where he gets patents for vaccines, for diseases that were patented, which you can't unless they're man-made? So COVID. Anyway, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And is this going to end his ability to, I don't know, try to block the sun to cool the earth and all that shit that he's proposed over the years? Okay, stop effing with the earth, dude, because you are just a feeble piece of shit who needs to stop. Go to your private island,
right?
A different one maybe, and live out the rest of your days just in solitude with your little native hoochies that come by and take care of you when you need, and just leave everybody else alone. Stay the F out of our lives.
Yeah, just go away. I had something good. Oh, it's this is definitely going to destroy whatever credibility that anybody had left for him. Yeah, this is gone. I mean, he lost credibility with me a long time ago. But that's just me, and that's my opinion. However, whoever is still looking up to this man and
listening to anything he has to say about anything anymore.
Yeah, this is really kind of gonna knock those books off that shelf.
Yeah, exactly. So here's her little video where she's talking about a little bit more about this, and we'll wrap this up. But I found this was kind of fascinating about the whole Epstein thing, because we do have questions. Is he still alive? First of all, I don't know if he really was killed, because I did see a video or some pictures showing the corpse that was taken out of the jail cell. That was mysteriously, the cameras automatically went off for some reason. The two guards fell asleep. All of this stuff, just all these coincidences, because we totally believe in coincidences.
Yeah, they're valid, aren't they?
Yeah, and it wasn't the same ear. There's a shape in your ear that you have, and the ear was different. The nose was slightly different. Looked pretty close. If you just are passing him by the TV cameras, you probably would say, "Oh, there's Jeffrey right there." But there's some questions. Is he still around? Is he still hanging out? They have him in hiding somewhere and witness protection, something like that. And are they going to do anything with it? I don't know. But there's questions. We don't know if he's still alive or if he actually did. It just, again, autopsy report also said that he did not die of strangulation or the hanging. It wouldn't have done and got the injuries that he had, that it was more like blunt force trauma, which he to himself in that cell. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember reading that.
Reading all that. So it just makes you wonder. So is this all coming out right now because that is she putting herself in harm's way here by getting this out there, or is she trying to do right by this?
That's what I was going to say. Or is she trying to protect herself? Because if she comes out publicly with it, and then somehow she disappears or gets in a car accident,
I'm not suicidal.
Then there's going to be huge questions, and they're going to start looking into him.
Yeah, and then the investigations commence with him as well. So let's listen to what she has to say here. See if it's anything different or it just reiterates what she's already said. But this was posted on the 17th, a couple days ago. So let's check this out.
Memoir Bullshit.
The Secret Broker. I'm going to turn the music off because I don't know if that's supposed to be a copyright violation or not. So we'll turn it way down. She breaks her silence on Bill's controversial ties with Jeffrey Epstein in her tell-all memoir. Available now on Amazon and any bookseller.
I kind of want to read it now.
I know. I'm like, oh, maybe
You know
that's
what I
what
mean?
she's doing. This is a book promo tour is what she's doing.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what this is.
Yeah, well, we'll see. This is the New York Times article that shook Melinda and made her question Bill's loyalty and values. I don't think he has a lot of values, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you
he's
ever?
hanging out?
Did you ever?
with Epstein.
Yeah, did you ever see the documentaries about Gates and his family and what his parents were all about and everything like that?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, they were part of, I believe, they were part of getting the whole Planned Parenthood thing in, and they're part of that group that wanted the population of the Earth to be down at 500 million people.
Oh,
That whole thing. Bill grew up in major privilege. The whole thing, it was always suspect about how he got Microsoft to begin with. Of course, we know he paid those programmers for that operating system and everything else, and that's how he kind of did, and then hired people. It wasn't like he was the technical programming genius.
yeah, he just funded it.
Yeah, he just kind of funded it, and now here we're looking at his ties because he thinks he's so elite, so above everybody. He can meet somebody and do things like this with the Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah,
And here she's saying, "Oh my God, the one time I met him, the very first time I met him, he just was creepy, evil, all this stuff,
just
leaked
evil."
Yeah, and this is all crazy, and look at that, she has panic attacks, and different things like that. She was like, "Oh my God, if I stay with this, something bad is going to happen." But maybe it's a book promo tour that she's on, because this is interesting. But yeah, you're right. I kind of want to read the book.
Yeah, you kind of want to read it. Yeah, I mean, the book's coming out now, so I'm sure that's what it is, and she's just doing press for it. But I mean, at the same time, this same thing goes. I still think what we were saying was true, that I think she did it out of protection for herself.
Yeah, it's kind of a CYA.
Yeah, it's almost like, and it's almost like, did she get threatened in some way? And this was the way that she decided to protect herself?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe she knew too much.
Maybe she did know a little too much. Here's the last little segment we have on this, and we'll wrap this up. But this is, I think our instincts and our gut as telling us that Bill was involved with this whole Epstein thing, went down to the island many, many, many times. And it's just kind of nice to hear that she wasn't completely oblivious to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that she's going, this is why I couldn't stay with this guy. And if I continue staying with this guy, who knows what's going to happen to me, my kids, and so on and so on. And I don't know, it's interesting. But
well, that's another thing too.
You know.
If you have to hold a secret for somebody for that long,
yeah,
I mean, again, goes back to maybe she knew too much and she was just completely exhausted mentally for holding on to these secrets, and so
it'll tear you up.
How to remove herself from it.
It'll tear you up inside.
Oh yeah,
your conscience will be sitting there, and I bet she couldn't sleep for long periods of time and was exhausted and everything.
Especially if she knew that Bill was involved in any sort of like trafficking or something like that. Not to say that he was.
No, that's a good question. If he's gone down the island,
yeah, exactly.
And was good friends with Epstein, apparently. But to show you kind of what Bill was involved with, and this is why, the whole Microsoft, this is when we started to say, you know what, you're not just a computer guy, even though you're not probably really a computer guy. I never really believed he was very good at any of that. He maybe had the ideas, but his programmers he hired did the work he wanted. Hey, that's fine. I totally get it. Sure. Can't do everything. But look at this. He's trying to combat global warming. So he wants to block the sun. So he's going to make money on something with that, create the powder, the dust, whatever, that they were going to fling up into the atmosphere and cover the earth. So it would block. Remember that?
Yeah.
So how was he making money on that? Or going to? And I think that's the stupidest fucking idea you can ever come up with. Oh my God, are you a moron?
If it actually worked, it would change our whole seasons and it would fuck everything up.
Well,
like if it actually were to work.
But don't they realize that you fuck things up for everybody like that you're also affected because the crops and the animals grazing on land and things like that, your food supply is going to be gone as well, and you think you can just grow everything in your little greenhouses and all that stuff? Well, maybe you can. I don't know. But these people just, in their infinite wisdom, think they know everything about everything and how to fix it. It's like, stop. Mother Nature takes care of itself pretty well.
Exactly.
So he's got that. Then he's figuring, well, I got to make money on the global warming thing because, he and Al Gore were probably good friends back in the day. And then the vaccines, well, he found out he can make millions. And remember, we showed that where he was making money and then all of a sudden it wasn't working anymore. And he sold all of his stock in Moderna or Pfizer or whatever it was. And then went out and said, well, the vaccines never really worked. And Oh, really? But you made your $500 billion on it.
Yeah. Well, it worked. Yeah. It worked until you stopped being able to make money off of it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. That's
another coincidence, right?
Yeah, exactly. But this goes into how creepy. It's like he doesn't do people. He does not do anything to benefit you. He is doing it to benefit him. Get that through your heads and realize what's really going on with Bill Gates and other people like him. They don't care about us. They tell us we can't have gas stoves in our house. They tell us we can't travel to places because our carbon footprint will be too big. Yet they're flying around in all their personal private jets everywhere in the world to Davos and all these places. But it's okay for them to do it, but we can't. Who are they to tell us what we can and can't do in our lives just because they happen to have more money than we do?
Yeah.
It is absolutely ridiculous. So let's see what goes on here and then we'll discuss. This is only under 2 minutes. Yeah, these are little things that make you go,
First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
These are things that make you say,
we're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein.
yeah, I'd probably have one of the
highest greenhouse gas footprints of anyone on the planet.
Yes, you do.
Making the mRNA is really easy and really cheap. We just need to mess around. There's a lot of
But it
lipid
doesn't work.
nanoparticles, and some are very self-assembling. What the hell does that mean?
You've invested $10 billion in vaccinations over the last 2 decades, and you figured out the return on investment for that. And it kind of stunned me. Can you walk us through the math?
That's a pretty strong number compared to anything else. We'll have to prepare for the next one. That,
The next
I'd say is
that we'll create.
will get attention this time.
Wow.
Yeah, a little
Can
creepy.
you believe this shit?
Wow.
I wonder why she divorced him. Great arm.
Your guess is as good as mine.
So just a few things of the creepiness that is Bill Gates and all of that. I mean, it's just, dude is weird, man.
Yeah, he's.
Let me throw a snowball at you. I'm tired now. I just threw one snowball. I'm tired.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
So obviously they don't get into the stuff of Epstein Island or things like that, but she did mention that a lot. She met him and she did not like him at all the second she met Jeffrey. Crazy town, right?
Yeah, that's there's something definitely nefarious under that, under that rug.
So I just want to know, why is it the book? Is she selling a book that looks actually pretty intriguing? Is she selling the book? Is that what this whole thing is about? Or is she just have an epiphany that comes out about, well, I think I'll spill the beans on my ex-husband and see what's going on with it.
Well,
I don't know exactly the real reason, and the only thing I can see right now is the book tour.
Yeah, I think, as time goes on, we'll actually see the reason be revealed.
Yeah.
But for right now, it's all speculation,
Yeah, exactly. So hope you enjoyed this. If you have any ideas on your own about what this is and why it's coming out now and why she's doing this, and you have any more, please send us a link if you have some good links of the stuff about Epstein that ties him together. Maybe I'll find some more about how many times he's gone down on Lolita Express. To go down there. That'd be interesting, because shit is hopefully going to hit the fan with him, and I hope he is in a place where he can't do any more damage to we the people of the world.
Yeah, to any of us.
Yeah, of the world. So, yeah, we want him to kind of go away and stop pretending that he is so wonderful, because he's not. And he's a little douchebag, short and stout. And we don't want him on there. So anyway, give us some likes, comments, share, subscribe. Go to therudebarn.etsy.com and check out our store. We've got some cool merch on there. Anything we sell, we don't make a whole lot off it. I mean, I really just kind of want to get it out there. But we got a lot of stuff in there that you can question everything. Question everything. That's what we're doing here. Why is this coming out now? They've been divorced for 3 years, and why is she all of a sudden coming out talking about all this stuff? It's really fascinating. You might have some ideas on your own. Let us know, right, Rude?
Yeah. Sound off in the comments and let us know. We love a conversation, and we love to, shoot ideas back and forth and opinions.
Yeah, exactly. And so also check out our good friends over at the Bearded Viking and see what they've got going. We've got good stuff going on there, right? What's happening with that?
Bearded Viking Mead Company. We're expanding, getting the mead to the masses. If you don't know, mead is the oldest alcoholic drink known to man, I guess. I don't know.
Made from honey wine.
Honey wine, and we make the best bathtub hooch on the planet. Check out, go to the website, check out our hooch finder, and you can find out where to get it closest to you.
Yeah, hooch finder, right? Where'd that go? Oh, I think
it's
here it is. Hooch finder.
Hooch finder.
Yeah. find our mead near you, and there's all over the place. So check it out wherever you are.
Yeah.
So check that out. Also check out the VOC, Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys. What do they do, Rude? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys. We're on
Shirt
Rumble.
right here.
Yeah, yeah, you are wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
That's very nice looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Over on Rumble, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock on Tuesday nights.
That'll be Mountain Time.
Yeah, it's a live show. And we talk about all things under the sun, and kind of rein in on men's mental health.
So we appreciate you stopping in, checking it out, and give us some ideas what you think of why Melinda is coming out now with these epiphanies and letting everybody know what's going on and why she divorced Bill. Other than the fact that nobody really gives a rat's ass, to be honest with you.
Right.
But it is interesting that if there are ties that she's going, oh yeah, Epstein and my ex-husband were toy. They were toy.
Might be
And that's
CYA
fine.
thing.
Yeah, I kind of want to see. I would love. I don't wish anybody to go to jail except for Bill Gates and a few other people, and maybe Clinton and Hillary and a few others. My opinion only. I'm just saying. And no, I like living. Living is good, and I will never do anything to not do anything on my own to end that. So just letting you know. Anyway. So we appreciate you stopping by. Again, check out our Etsy store, therudebarn.etsy.com. Check out some merch. Anything that you do, help us. We can do better shows, more shows, but we do this on our own because we love it and we're having fun of it and we have a good time. I hope you are too. So join us on the next podcast, and we'll see you guys real soon.
Question everything, gang.